Hi everybody, this is Debbie Eno from Teacher Success Coach. I haven't done a live for a while now because we've been on holidays, and then when I started, I was in the on the online platform. We started back on the online platform in January, or second week in January, and I was trying to navigate my way around the online platform again because I'm at a different school who uses a different platform. So hi guys, yes, I know what it is like. We all going through the same journey in terms of the anxiety, in terms of the uncertainty. Educators, I do understand, because especially for me, when I teach in different institutions, they all use different online platforms. So it means I have to learn new platforms all the time. So right now I've actually have learned 4 different platforms. On one hand, it's fantastic because it's giving me the knowledge of the different platform. On the other hand, it means that the anxiety of trying to learn a new platform all the time. But I'm getting there, and I must say I am grateful because it's giving me new skills. And this new institution I'm in, they're using one of the platform I've used, but they have something extra in terms of the registration. So that is something new I have to use, learn as well. Having said that, it's brilliant because it's given me new knowledge. Well, educators, this is a new thing for us. I know it's new, it's different. Nevertheless, we need to make sure that we maintain our well-being and our health as much as possible. Because as you know, the more stressed you are, the more anxious you become, the more you're reducing your immune system. Because stress does that very, very well. The more stressed you are, you weaken your immune system. So you need to find ways to reduce your stress. Whether or not it means walking in nature, whether or not it means you're having time for you, i.e. sitting in quiet time, or start doing meditation, or just doing stretches, or just stretching basically. So it's like stretching, doing meditation, doing yoga, doing just walking in the park, or just walking in nature, or having long baths, or just having quiet time with you. When I say having quiet time, it could just mean that having 10-15 minutes time where it is only about you and you're just turning inwardly to yourself. Another thing you could do is appreciating yourself. Appreciating what's good about yourself. We all have new knowledge now, so that should be on your appreciation of yourself list. Appreciating where you are, appreciating where you come from where you are right now. Another thing is having a gratitude journal. That is powerful, 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 powerful. Because it enables you to put things in perspective. Seeing what you're grateful for. One of the first things you should all be grateful for is life. Because we've got it. Some of you, it may not be how you want it to be in terms of, perfect health, but you have life, and then you could work on the health. So that's a plus. So we need to start looking at it like that. You have health, so you could work on, you have life, so you could work on the health. And this is what we should not be taking for granted. Being alive and having life. It is very, very precious. So we need to start looking at it, okay, I have life, so therefore I could build on that. You need to use it to build and use it to appreciate you. When I say appreciate yourself, I mean look at the things that you now have acquired. And you need to express it and celebrate it. We do not celebrate enough about ourselves. We tend to celebrate other people. But what's about celebrating yourself? So anytime you learn a new skill, you need to celebrate that. Celebrate it in the fact that you didn't know it before, so you now know it. It doesn't matter how little you know about it, but you need to still celebrate it. Because the more you celebrate it, it empowers you to enable you to keep on increasing your knowledge of it. So for me, in terms of, I'm celebrating all the time. Because today in the school I'm in, I had to learn the new registration. And it was interesting because I have learned something new. In terms of teaching online, we all know that it is not the best method of teaching in terms of engaging with the student. It is very, very tiring. Nevertheless, that is what we have now. So there is no point in stressing yourself about it. You might as well embrace it. And today was really interesting because I was teaching on Teams today in the new school I'm at. And I obviously have done something wrong. I'm not too sure what it is because Teams is fairly new to me. And I had a group of 23 students. And what the students were doing is they were kicking each other out. By that I mean they were actually deleting each other. I'm not too sure who was doing it. I'm on a mission now to find out how that is done. Because I had 23 students and one or more student, I'm not too sure if it's one or more, they were actually letting student leave. They were actually deleting the student out of the lesson. The lesson was 40 minutes. The lesson was 50 minutes. And half of the lesson was spent where students were just letting each other leave, muting each other. Then they muted me, and I thought to myself, initially, you know how you think to yourself, did you mute yourself because you wanted the student to talk or you were doing something? So I keep on second guessing myself. And then I suddenly realized, hold on, you didn't mute yourself. The students were muting you. So the student had control of my platform today when I was teaching on Teams. There was nothing I could have done in terms of, there's no point in me getting angry. There's no point in me shouting. There's most point in me getting stressed. I just observe that and I just have to sit with that because they obviously, whichever student that had control of that. So I keep on unmuting myself. They keep on muting me. In the end, I said to them, okay, game over now. I understand that I am new to you guys' school, so you think that this new teacher, you're going to play up. Yes, you actually have control of it now, so you're actually muting me, you're muting other students, etc. So half of the lesson was spent like that. But it's a learning call for me because now I'm on a mission to learn more about this platform, i.e. who have been muting everybody else. That's one. And secondly, how I actually make sure I take full control of it. One of the things I noticed that I could take control of muting them all, but I also wanted them to verbally engage with me. So I need to decide whether or not I mute them all for my lesson tomorrow, or I look up on the platform, look on YouTube, my teacher, to see whether or not I could take control of they not having the control to mute or exit everybody out of the chat. So those are two things I'm going to learn right now. And I've learned a lot on this new platform because, as I said, yes, I've only recently started using Teams. I've done all the others, some of the others already. And it's really wonderful because this is a new skill which I'm learning. It is tiring, of course. And it means learning things all over again, but it's wonderful because we should always be learning new things because it enables us to be more marketable. So the more skills you learn, the more marketable you become, and which means that you have control as to what you want to teach and how you want to teach it. So that's one of the aspect there. Another thing for me today was, so although that was the fact that the student had control, it was wonderful in one sense because it now allows me to go back and learn new skills on this Team platform, which I didn't even know. Because yesterday I taught on Teams went through the same method, but I had no student muting or no student messing around with, throwing out, exiting other students. So yesterday was wonderful. Yesterday went well. Today was wonderful as well because it now forces me to learn new skills and things I didn't know what was happening, things I didn't know before. So that's a plus. I cannot see it as a negative because I keep saying the universe doesn't give us all negative. Within the negative, they're also positive. So we need to embrace the positive and we need to enjoy those positive instead of us always seeing everything negative. Life is more than just negative. So find the positive and celebrate it in a big way. It is going to empower you. It's going to increase your self-esteem. What you are taking away as your win today, educators? So what I want you to think about, amid these challenges, amid the stress, amid the anxiety, there are also wins in all of those things. So educators, I want you to think about what is your win, what you feel that it is a plus for you. My plus is I had 6, because my lesson, there are 6 periods a day. So my plus is I got the students to engage verbally on the online platform because they like to write in the chat. Writing in the chat is positive, it's fine. But as I say to my student today, I say being in the classroom by yourself where no one is talking, there's nobody there, is quite lonely. So it's nice if you guys verbally engage with me. And I got engagement today. They were verbally engaging and it was exciting. It was beautiful. It was really nice. But for me to get that, I had to really become overexcited for myself. I had to be excited. I love teaching anyway, so my excitement was easy to come by. But it was really nice because they were engaging with me. And that had been happening in one of my other schools last week as well. The student began to engage verbally. It's nice. So educators, if you're excited about your lessons, students would engage with you verbally on the platform. But you need to be excited about your lesson. They need to see the excitement in you. You're not able to see the student because here I'm not able to see the students for safeguarding purposes, but they're able to see me. Because I need to, for safeguarding purposes, they need to see me. They need to see what a teacher look like. So on those bases, they're seeing my excitement. They're seeing how I'm enjoying my lesson. So after a while, they begin to become excited as well. And I have to make them excited about the lesson because I want them to enjoy the session. So my win is my students actually verbally engage with me on the platform. They were actually chatting. At one time I had to say to one group, oh, just wait for the other one to finish talking. So they were excited, so that was good. And in terms of the chat, oh my goodness, they were really chatting. They were really, writing in the chat. So that's been real good for me in terms of my win today. And my daily word. Every day, educators, I'm giving a daily word. I want you to see what the word looks like to you. How does that word resonate with you? What are you going to take away from the word and how are you going to use it? Today, the word is refresh because I feel I need to refresh my knowledge of online teaching. Because when we had the holiday, I actually, as I said, I used Teams before, but not a great deal, just in one school, and I wasn't there long enough. So I've used Teams, but wasn't in great detail. So for my word today is refresh. So I need to refresh my knowledge of Teams, that I'm able to navigate areas of Teams. And I also have to learn some new skills on Teams so that I know next time when my students are deciding they're going to be, exiting other students, I know what to do. One of the things I plan to do when I set my lesson tomorrow is make sure I mute all of them, but I'm thinking about that because I don't really like to mute them all. But I need to find a way that I take control of that platform so that even though I allow them to mute themselves, I still have control that nobody will actually exit each other or mute each other. So that's my mission tonight, is to learn a little bit more about Teams. So educators, on those bases, that the challenges of the online platform, but we need to we look at not only challenging the triumph of the online platform, because it's enabling you to learn new skills. But you need to do that when your body and your mind is quiet, that you are not anxious. Because the more you are anxious, the more you're going to be stressed. And as I told you before, when you are stressed, it weakens your immune system. You cannot afford to allow your immune system at this time to be weakened. So you need to use different things in terms of a lot of fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, drink a lot of water. Another thing is you need to make sure you go outside and walk. You go outside, take a long walk, at 10 minutes or 15 minutes, refresh your brain. When you're teaching on the online platform, you need to teach in chunks. By that I mean every 20 or 30 minutes, because the brain could only take that much. The brain cannot take the whole hour you're giving the students. So you need to start teaching in chunks. As a psychologist, I'm fascinated by the mind and the brain and how we learn, etc. And I know we do not learn by sitting there for the whole hour. The brain gets tired. What happens is the individual or the student would learn the first part of the lesson and the last part of the lesson. The middle of the lesson get lost. So the more you want them to remember information, you need to make sure that your lesson is chunked. So therefore, the first part, the last part. In order to do these things, you need to allow them to have between 3 and 5 minutes break. 3 and 5 minutes break is a lot to break. Because within 3 and 5 minutes, they could have a break. They could go to the toilet, the bathroom. They could have a drink. They could stretch. They could dance around, enabling the oxygen to circulate around the body. So therefore, it refreshes your brain. So when you get them back onto the platform, the brain is now ready to learn. So educators, those are some of the things you need to do. And you need to be, instead of you saying, oh, you need to be, you need to actually do all of this. No, you could be teaching all of this, but the question you need to ask yourself, how much of that have your students retained or have they learned? Very little. Because it's like your brain operates like putting water into a bottle. You have a full bottle and you keep on pouring the water. The water is just running out. That's what happened to the students. They're not taking in anything because the level of processing isn't deep enough for them to recall what you've taught them, because the brain is tired. So you need to do your lesson in chunks, either 20, 30 or 40 minutes chunk, and then give them a break. You also need to empower them by using various techniques. When they were children, they actually remember the stories that were taught to them, that was read to them rather, or they read themselves. And the reason why they remember the stories were the images in the storybooks were very unusual images, and they were very, very colorful. And the words in the book was very bold. So we need to start teaching using those methods again. Because in primary and early years setting, children learn a lot and they're extremely bright. But when they come onto secondary school, they lose all of those. The question is, why do they lose all of those? They lose it because the method by which we're teaching them. Because in early years and primary school, they learn through action. They learn through experimentation. They learn through experiential learning. They learn through colors. They learn through images. They learn through bold writing. So those are some of the things we need to start employing as educators of mature students and educators of secondary school children. We need to make learning fun for them again. So those are some of the things I use with my students, and I must say the result is positive. And even though I'm on the online platform, I'm using music, and when we have a break, I'm not seeing what they're doing, I'm assuming, because I'm saying that I want you to get up from your computer, get up from your telephone and walk around the house, or stretch, or dance around. I'm not saying that you have to be a dancer, but you need to move your body around. And one of the things I asked them today is, What's their favorite book when they were a child? When either someone read to them or they read to themselves. And why was it interesting and why did they remember it? And it just confirmed what I've just said. It was the unusual stories. It was the unusual images. It was the bold writing. And it was the colorful pictures. So those are the things we need to do. We need to stop putting so many information on the PowerPoint. Because I've seen some educators have some PowerPoints. Whoa, the PowerPoints are falling over with information. For some students, they're taking in nothing at all. We need to be mindful how we actually prepare our lessons for our students. And we need to look at how they actually learn in early years and primary school. And we need to try to employ those. One of the things I encourage students to do as well and suggest is mind mapping. Learning through mind map is very, very powerful because the mind doesn't learn through linear. Because when you look at the brain is a web. And when we talk about neural pathways, those are all the pathways that we are able to remember new information and things like that. So that's the reason why I encourage students to use mind map. And when you are using mind map, make sure it's colorful. Make sure the images that you want to associate with your writing or your learning is unusual, so that the brain would remember those unusual images. We need to go back to when we were primary school or early years. And educators who are fortunate enough who've taught in early years and primary school, we need to start using those methods again to enable our students to enjoy what we're teaching them, to enjoy learning, to enjoy what we're teaching them, and to retain information and process it at deeper level. Anyway, guys, I'll be coming to you from, every day now. I'll try to come to you in the morning and in the evening to remind you of your ability to be grateful and remember your wins. Because remember, the universe never gives us all things negative. You need to look at the positive and celebrate it. Whether or not it means that it is something very small, you still celebrate it. It is worth celebrating. The more you celebrate, the more it increases your confidence, the more it increases your self-esteem, the more it empowers you to want to do more. Anyway, guys, before I leave, today's daily word is refresh. Refresh your mind, refresh yourself, refresh your knowledge. Just refresh however way you want to use it. Just make sure it is positive. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic evening. Stay blessed and look after yourself and be safe. And remember, there is no point in being negative. Negativity does not solve anything. It just decreases your momentum. It increases your stress, which in turn reduces your immune system. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.